It's the Euro Yard, and it's the 1961 Eurovision Song Contest. No, it's not happening today. It happened a long time ago. But we watched it, scored every single song, and re-ranked them based on our detailed evaluation. This is our second video ranking past Eurovision Song Contests. We did 1960 previously, which you can watch on this channel. And for the rankings of contests during the 1950s, you can check those out on our website at theeuroyard.com. As a reminder, we will update our all-time scoreboard at the end of each year watched, and we'll watch the points pile up over the decades. We give our top 10 songs every year 12 points, then 10, then 8 through 1 like you might see today. Entering the 1961 contest, we had Switzerland in the lead with 57 points, a full 15 ahead of Italy on 42. It's a runaway for Switzerland for now, but a few countries are set to make big moves in this decade. You'll find out more about that in future videos. Also, to briefly recap our scoring rubric, we have a nice write-up about this also on theeuroyard.com for those interested, but we have general impression at 40% of our score, 28% for vocals, 20% for composition and lyrics, and 12% for staging. But each of those categories is subdivided so we could truly isolate the areas in which a song did well and maybe where it didn't. On to 1961 with some general contest notes. This was the 6th Eurovision Song Contest and the second one held in Cannes, France. France won in 1960 with Jacqueline Boyer's song Tom Pilibi. We had 3 countries making their Eurovision debuts in 1961, Finland, Spain, and Yugoslavia. So this meant that with everyone coming back from 1960, this was definitely the largest contest to this point, with 16 countries participating. The winning song here was by Luxembourg, which we will get into a little bit later. This was the first of a handful of wins for Luxembourg at Eurovision over the next 2 decades or so. Jean-Claude Pascal won it with his song Nous les amoureux. Now let's get into the scores, and what we're going to do now that the contests are starting to get bigger is group together the songs which did not make the top 10. These are the songs which finished in the bottom 5 on our scorecard, which is to say they came in 12th to 16th place. Germany with Lala Anderson we had in last at 16th. Austria came in 15th place with Jimmy McCoulis' song. France might surprise some people, but we had it at 14th. Sweden's entry from Lil Babs came in 13th, and Conchita Bautista for Spain was in 12th. In terms of notes, in the German song, I felt like she was struggling a little bit vocally and I couldn't get into the song. On the night of the contest, this came in 13th. Austria, my main critiques were that the song was dull and it sounded like a handful of Eurovision songs of this era that I've already heard. Jimmy McCoulis finished tied for last at the contest. France actually finished high with the juries, and you might remember this is the song that started out bing-a bong-a bing-a bong. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself that people actually used to listen to things like this. I know, I'm judging the past based on the present, but while the song was definitely original, the irritation factor was just too great and it didn't age well. This came in 4th on the night of the show, however, though well behind winning Luxembourg. Sweden, I didn't exactly hate the song, but I didn't love the sound either. And generally speaking, whistling does not work for me in Eurovision songs. Sing Little Birdie from 1959 might be the only song I think it's ever worked in, which includes more recent songs. Our appraisal wasn't too far off the juries, who had this song in 14th place. Finally, we have Spain, and I gave it points for being original and for being interesting, since this was a very uniquely Spanish sound and maybe not too far off from what you might hear today. I just didn't connect with the piece. We maybe gave it a little less credit than the juries, who had Spain in 9th. Now we give you the song which just missed in 11th place, which was Monaco's Allons, Allons les enfants, Colette Desreal's song, which means Come on, children. The juries in 1961 had it as part of a 3-way tie for 10th. I think it was kind of a slog getting through this one, even though I think the composition itself was good. What helped it rise out of the first group we just showed you is that she had a big finish at the end, which at least made it somewhat more interesting. Still, unfortunately, no points for Monaco this year. Moving up, we finally get to the top 10 for 1961. In 10th, with 1 point, it's the Netherlands with Grietje Koffeld's song Wat een Dag, which means What a Day. She was also part of that 3-way tie for 10th place, so we happen to agree with this placement. This song was upbeat and fun, I don't think the singing was amazing, and really what held it back was that lyrically it's not the best. I've seen much worse, but a lot of repetition and it was a little simple. In ninth place, getting 2 points from us, we have Belgium and Bob Benny's song September Gouden Roos, which is Dutch for September Golden Rose. This was Benny's second appearance at Eurovision, and admittedly, I thought his first song was better. Belgium came in tied for last with the juries in 1961, but we gave him a little bit more credit. I thought this song was pretty, with decent lyrics, if a little dull and plotting. He sang fine, not the best vocals of the contest, but certainly not the worst either. There just was not a ton of oomph, if we're going to use that word, and we are. So it finished towards the middle and bottom of the pack. Moving up to 8th, getting 3 points. This was Finland's first entry ever, Valoa Ikunassa by Leila Kinnunen. Her song title means light in a window, and she finished tied for 10th at the contest. First off, this was so different from what Finland sends today. If you're a Finnish Eurofan, no doubt you know your country's history in this contest, and it's going to be a good 40 to 45 years before you find your lane. There are going to be a lot of rough years in there, but as for this first performance, I thought it was an average song. The singing was decent, maybe a little better than decent, but I wouldn't rate anything else, composition, lyrics, overall impression, any better than average. Still, good enough to get her 8th place on our list. In 7th, this was Yugoslavia's maiden Eurovision voyage, as Ljiljana Petrovic sang Neke davne zvezde, which is Croatian for Some Ancient Stars. She came in 8th place at the contest in 1961. The song was definitely a bit pretty, and overall I think it was very similar in evaluation to how I felt about Finland. The difference was that I think Petrovic maybe sang a tiny bit better, and we rate vocals heavily, so that's just enough to get a song from 8th place to 7th, gaining 4 points on the all-time scoreboard. With 6th place, getting 5 points, was Norway's Nora Brogstedt with Summer i Palma, which means summer in Palma. Wouldn't that be a nice thing to do? Anyway, this song was sweet, and lyrically I liked it, talking about a summer love she found on the beach. And I also like Nora as a singer, though admittedly, this song isn't as good as Voy Voy the year prior. Nevertheless, it left a decent overall impression with me, and Nora sang well. In terms of how this actually landed on the scorecard, there was a good-sized gap for us between 6th and 7th, so we felt it was a respectable performance for her. We have the winning song for this year in 5th place, getting 6 points. This was Jean-Claude Pascal's Nous les amoureux, which means we lovers. One thing I liked about this song was that it had a secret message. Pascal was gay, and this song was about his forbidden love. Of course, nobody knew what sort of forbidden love it was about at the time. In fact, Pascal went out of his way to make sure his overtones were not too homosexual. But looking back, the context makes a lot of sense. I thought there were better vocalists in the contest in 1961, which is ultimately why this didn't go higher. And it was also a bit slow for me, but I liked it enough to slide it into the top 5. And now for the songs we placed ahead of the winner. In 4th, getting 7 points was Switzerland. Franca Di Rienzo sang Nous allons demain, which means we will have tomorrow. This song came in 3rd on the night, so we agree with the juries that it was good and worthy. I found it to be pretty, and I thought quite highly of her vocals, but as you'll see in a bit, I don't think they were the absolute best in the whole contest this year. The lyrics I thought were pretty good, and the song as a whole was sweet, but Di Rienzo herself made this song as successful as it was. Into the top 3 we go, and getting our bronze medal and 8 points is the United Kingdom, as the Allisons sung Are You Sure? Here we had another one of what will be many second-place finishes for the UK in Eurovision. The lyrics weren't the best on the night, but the composition was the most interesting overall. It was also the most interesting song in 1961, and those two singers kept me engaged throughout the performance as they sung about their lover who left. I doubt this lover was both of theirs, but anyway, they put on a good show, and it was worthy of 3rd place on our list. Now for 2nd place, the silver medal and 10 points, they go to Denmark and Dario Campiotto's song Angelica. The juries perhaps didn't like it as much, putting it in a tie for 5th with our winner. I thought he sang beautifully, and check these lyrics out sometime. It's quite the composition. I'll read you an excerpt as he sings about Angelica. If I wore Shakespeare's poetry hat, I'd be writing poems to you day and night. And if I wore Caruso's cape, then I'd sing and sing for you. Another verse goes, but all the muses said no. I don't master singing and string playing. Just let me dream a little of you, Angelica, so I feel as just a single little pawn in the mosaic of your life. That's a hell of a lot better than some of the other songs I've seen. Let's put it that way. And I think this song deserved a little better than what it got. Finally, our gold medal, 12 points, 12 points, and first place, I'm giving it to Italy. Betty Curtis performed Al di là, which means beyond. Lyrically, was it the best? Probably not better than the Danish song, but I have to tell you, I have watched over 1,700 Eurovision songs, and Curtis had one of my favorite vocal performances ever. To use an American sports idiom, she hit it out of the park. She sounded amazing. Her range was exceptional, and she absolutely belted it out. It was a beautiful song, and I bought in right away. So Italy was our winner for 1961. Now we'll go a little deeper into how songs scored in our different categories. First, in terms of our overall impression of each song, this matched the top three which we cranked out. Italy came in first, then followed by Denmark, and the United Kingdom was in third. If it matters, we had Luxembourg and Switzerland tied for fourth. Next up is our engagement score, and that was a tie for first between Italy and the United Kingdom. And then it was the Netherlands in third, and yes, this score was a big part of the reason why they finished inside the top 10 as opposed to outside of it. Combined vocals are next, and no surprise here, we went with Italy in the first spot. I sense you're spotting a trend, so yes, you will see this song in our Eurovision Top 100 when we begin releasing that list. Next on the list was Denmark, followed by Switzerland in third place. The last scores we will share are combined composition and lyrics. That's where you will find the winning song, Luxembourg, in first place, followed by Denmark in second, and then Italy in third. Not listed here, but the United Kingdom was in fourth. We wrap up with our updated scoreboard for 1961. Switzerland's in the lead with 64, though the gap with Italy has narrowed now to 10 points, with the Italians on 54. The Netherlands are now tied for third with the UK on 34 points, and rounding out the top 5 is Denmark with 31. The rest of the current top 10 we have are, in order, France, Germany, Luxembourg, Belgium, and Austria. 2 of our 3 new countries cracked positive integers this time, but Spain, for now, is in last place with 0. But I promise, they're gonna make a move. For more on the Eurovision Song Contest, and believe me, there's a lot, subscribe to this YouTube channel and visit us at theEuroYard.com.